A kid in full hockey fit pulls up and sits right in front of you, and you can't see a thing. This might be more of a me guy move than just bringing your glove to a game. At least your glove is not right in the people behind you's face. I'm not trying to grow my bones anymore. My bones are grown, bro. I don't need to drink milk. I'm not a baby. You know who drinks milk? Babies and children. I don't put milk in my coffee. I drink black coffee like a grown-up. He ain't throwing a pick. If I could speak another language, I'd say it in that one too. It's time to dust off old Krabs again, take the less than half a pick, and f***ing cash with me tonight. Tail it, fade it, I don't give a shit. I'm making money on it. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, the best BTL of the week, episode 803 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. W Pickett. If you're not tracking your bets on Pickett, start tracking your bets today. Over there on the best bet tracking app out there by far on the App Store or Google Play. W Pickett, W Jovan, W Chat, W Sade Whiteman. Getting the party started today with a 5-unit subway. Let's go, Sade.
Oh, shout out Sade.
Let's go, Sade. Let's go, Sade. Yeah, crazy theme music. Sucks we can't play, Gunna anymore before the show, but W copyright. Got to be good. Got to play the elevator music for you guys. We got the Curfew Life getting involved. Quick 3 years. How about a 36-month resub from the Curfew Life? Appreciate you, Beast. And how about Matt Gauthier getting involved as well? Michigan State money line on the college ice. Fade Gavin McKenna. Who's that? Is that going to be the next big star in the NHL?
Yeah, he's like the
That's
next.
Why you're bringing it up?
Next McDavid.
No, I bet. Oaktown's finest. Are we sounding crispy? Love to hear that. Hope everything's working well. Maybe it's just if we're using StreamYard, maybe the sound is better in there than what we typically use with Goots. That's interesting. Does it sound better today? Has it sounded better this week? Or maybe it was because I was on my AirPods yesterday and the last couple of days, but back home in the studio today, probably that as well. How about Ron Mux? Look, a blue-collar guy, a guy who, he does not get enough love and respect and appreciation, I feel like, in the chat. Ron Mux, 25 stream streak. My goodness.
Krabs guy.
Certainly a Krabs guy. He's first team all Krabs. He's in the starting lineup.
Looks like Ron, man.
I mean, 25 stream streaks, those do not grow on trees. Ron, that's what I'm talking about, my man. Nobody does it like Ron. Nobody mucks like Ron. W. Ron, appreciate you in here every damn day. 25 stream streak. That might be a record. How about Sade Whiteman, 15 stream streak, along with Peak Sour. And then we got Dean rounding it out here with a 10 stream streak. Appreciate you guys. W stream streaks. W subbies. W chats. Canadian Goots. Clams are never safe around these parts. That's for sure. Adrian, good to see you, Beast. Hope you guys are doing well. Why don't we go ahead and hop right in? We don't have time to dilly-dally. We don't have time to bojangle. We got to lock in here. We got a lot to go over today. We don't have time to bojangle today, Jovan. We got to get right to it. We got plays for the weekend. We got plays for tonight, and we've got recaps. And how about Iowa State coming through last night? Great second half, Jovan. Great call.
Shout out Iowa State. Good.
Great call. Great call on the Cyclones there. I love betting on the Cyclones. And Zacho coming in with a 20 stream streak. Appreciate you, Zacho. You're him. The must-need came through last night. Love to see it. Iowa State, man, minus 33.5. Never in doubt. Great fucking play, Jovan. They won by 40. Great work.
Wow, I didn't even realize we got a Krabs sweepingheimer.
Yeah, hey, it even gets swept by you sometimes, and that's okay. No stress, no worries. But, nobody's talking about a 5-0 sweep.
Nobody talking about it yesterday.
You won't hear people about it. You won't hear people about it again. That's for sure.
That balanced card from Krabs was unbelievable.
You got a big dog. You got a big fade. You got an under, right? The literal Thanos meme. Somebody grab me my broomski, please. As a great man once said.
A sneak Blues bet in there that squeaked.
We had a Blues fade, which somehow hit. I think it was 2-0 early for the Blues, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
They didn't score the rest of the game.
Period. Then it ended, I think 3-0 because one of them was an empty netter, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, sure. And Carlson, man, they don't make squares like that Carlson square.
I mean, just that whole game was just Krabs game, man.
If you lost coins on the books, you were not tailing BTL. Good point there, pick 6. We had a pretty darn good day yesterday, 5 for 6 on the books.
Yeah, shout out to Sens OT.
Got the Sens for caking a sweep there on the books. That's okay. Right State.
2-70 on OT wagers. Wagers that go in.
Yeah, you're due for some positive regression. That's for sure. That's for sure. Aries 18, get involved with the resub. Aries, good to see you up and moving, Beast. Good to see you up and moving. Hit for 2K yesterday from taking everything except Ottawa. Thank you, good sirs. Aries, you're him. Way to weed out the cake.
Incredible weeding.
Yep. Any comments on the prize pick squares, Jovan? They've been cold, but I do not expect that to last from you. That's for sure.
Yeah, not a game. I got target probably mostly anything in the past game. So we'll have to wait more on Betch. And then game script kind of flipped too quickly against App State, even though he's mucking for a while. So that was moose. But I feel a lot better about squares today.
Okay. Have we thought about maybe squeaking an under in every once in a while?
Oh, of course. I always think so.
Okay.
Always think so.
As long as you're thinking about it. Hey, you're the prize pick square king. I don't want to tell you what to do. As long as you're thinking about it. Okay.
I'm thinking.
Just know that there's 2 sides to that damn coin. Okay. Deed is due on prize picks. Very rare, Russ. And if there's one thing I know, it's that he's going to turn that around and bounce back today with a great, 2-piece and this weekend as well. I'm excited to see what you crafted up for prize picks because I will certainly be tailing. That's for sure. That's for sure. Coworker came up to me yesterday, said he nuked Cal plus, or I'm assuming he meant minus 14.5. I immediately thought of Krabs, cards, Dilly Daggers. You should have double dipped when you heard that. Respectfully.
You should have told Krabs that. He might have double dipped.
I probably would have double dipped as well. Why is your coworker taking first week college basketball? Hey, that's when you probably should have known you should have faded, but what do I know? Shout out Wright State. I mean, so much heart from that team, a team that plays defense and a lot of heart, keeping that within the number. W day yesterday. Let's run it back today. All right, let's go 5-0 once again. Let's go 10-0. Why not?
Sure.
Why not? All right, we have a lot to get to today. Like I was talking about, we're going to do the weekend previews, college and NFL. We're going to talk about our sharp report here in a moment. Do we have the king of the board graphic to recap or no?
Don't think he gave us that.
Okay, that's okay.
But I have my squares in there, so you can see how that went for me.
Yeah, but there's going to be an asterisk next to this king of the board because look, I'm not okay with how this went down. I forgot to post the king of the board on Wednesday, I believe, and Jovan hit his square, and I lost my square, and I forgot to post it because I'm a bozo. You can tell we're missing goods. And then now, of course, I come in and hit a 2-piece last night on the king of the board, and Jovan goes 0 for 2. It's just horrendous karma, I feel like, for me. And there's going to be an asterisk next to this one for sure, even if I end up winning here, Jovan, because he got screwed out of a square, man. And that's on me.
Yeah. I mean,
I got screwed out of a losing square. So
might not matter anyway, though.
It might not matter, but it just doesn't feel right. So there will be an asterisk like Barry Bonds next to that home run number. Okay. There will be an asterisk. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. W day yesterday overall. Most important thing is we hit the squad ride. That's really all that matters right now. So let's keep hitting those puppies and let's go ahead and dive right into the slate for today. Why don't we go ahead and get to the sharp report here, huh?
Sure.
Why not? Jovan, it's been a while. This used to be, when I was growing up, this is a big game. Hasn't been played in a while. Georgetown and Maryland. This used to be a dogfight. This game. This used to be a game that meant more in the area around here in the DMV. But in recent years, they haven't really been playing. Obviously you got new coaches, in and out of both these schools. But it's been, almost 10 years since these teams have played, which is pretty wild because I remember growing up, this game was circled on the calendar. I think it's going to be a dogfight again tonight. It's literally been 10 years. They haven't played since 2016, it looks like, when Maryland squeaked by on a 1-point win, and that game did go under. But again, that game doesn't mean shit. It was 10 years ago. The total in this game is much lower than that total as well, because I think the books know this is going to be just a scrappy game, an under game, not a very offensive game. I think it's going to be a lot of new moving pieces here for both squads. Georgetown has a lot of new guys and a lot to prove as well. And Maryland, buzzball, right? It's much different than what Maryland's had recently with Mark Turgeon. It's much different than what they had under Kevin Willard, where this Terps team is going to play defense, and they're still trying to figure out their rotations, their minutes. and where they're going to get production from with an entirely new roster for the Terps this season. So this is going to be one of those games where Maryland's just going to be trying to skate by and squeak out a win. They're not going to be out here looking to prove anything. They're not going to be out here looking to, keep their foot on the gas pedal. They're going to be trying new things. They're going to be working in new guys and still trying to figure out their rotations. And the spread in this game is down a little bit. I think from 7.5 to 4.5 now I'm seeing. And I certainly do lean Georgetown. But if Georgetown covers this game, it's got to go under. And I love seeing the total down to, I think, 146 now as well. So get this while it's hot. Get this before it drops any lower. I'm seeing a dogfight up there in College Park tonight, Jovan, between these two squads that used to be rivals. I think maybe they renew their rivalry tonight. Scrappy game. It's going to be an under type of game. Defensive mindset here from both these coaches. And I'm not seeing 145-plus points in this game. If anything, I think it's going to be a UVA type of game where it's in the 130s from back in the day. So, go and give me the under between these two teams where it used to mean something. Tonight it will once again, and it's going to be a close one.
Just means more.
Close one. Yep.
That is
the 30-stream
Krabs.
streak from the one and only Casper, and this is a Krabs Bowl, if that's what you're saying about this Georgetown and Maryland game. I wish it was at Georgetown because then I could just fucking walk down the street or hop in a quick Uber and go to the game tonight. But a little bit further, and I will certainly not be going to College Park tonight. Yep. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Can't have that.
No, thank you.
Yep,
I will keep fading Memphis and keep losing coin behind the backboard. You should take 5 units on Memphis tonight, man. You should nuke it. You should put 10 units on it behind the backboard and see how that goes tonight. We'll come back to it. I want to hear what Jovan's on for tonight, though, before we dive into my favorite play of the night.
Yeah, let's start with the obvious. Only thing I will blindly take, only system I'll blindly back in all of sports, bet without a reason is this one. Both teams got a shutout, but I won't put it on here unless there's a reason. I'll just tell you that I'm betting it if there really is no reason. But I think there's a good reason for this one. Rangers and Red Wings, both coming off shutouts. Obviously, we love to play those overs. You both get backup goalies in net, which I know probably doesn't make you like to play anymore, Krabs. But I think for both these teams, honestly, it's a little better because when the Rangers have quick in net, they play a little faster than they do with Igor. They like to lean on Igor a little more. They kind of batter down defensively, and a lot has to do with the game script of those games because, they have struggled offensively, so they're not scoring too many goals. But when Quick's in net, they like to play quicker, no pun intended. And Cam Talbot, shockingly on the other side, who's getting the start tonight, has been fantastic. Who I don't know how he's getting Social Security checks at this point, but he's been incredible. Start the season, he won 5 of the 6 starts. He's been absolutely locked down for them in net. So what perfect chance for him to have one of his. I guess he had another stinker against the Isles. Funny enough, the other New York team where he gave up 7 goals, which was his only bad start of the season. It would be very funny if it happened again. The Rangers, who thankfully are not playing at MSG, they're on the road where they actually can figure out how to score goals, but they're coming off of a pitiful performance against a good defensive team in the Canes, but one that is missing a bunch of defenders right now, and they also got shut out by a backup goalie and your guy Kochetkov. But now they're on the road, and they're going to score some goals against Cam Talbot, and I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game. Obviously, the urgency is always there when you have two teams coming off of a shutout, but I think the only way for the Rangers to go in and win this game on the road is going to have to be picking up the pace, especially against a defense that they don't want to let get set, like a lot of these other ones that have really burned them in the past handful of games. So, obvious over. Have to take it. We take our systems, but good reason.
Right. Has to be done. I am seeing some 5.5s aloof.
Yeah, there's a lot more 5.5s out there, but I have 6. So transparency's sake, I locked in 6. But for this game, I don't think it'll matter. I think there's a shootout, not literally, but super high scoring. We get 7 or 8 goals, or if it does end up going under, which I don't think so, it'll go under by quite a bit.
Okay. Canadian Goot says Krabs doppelganger scoring. Could need that.
Alexis Lafreniere.
Could need that for the Rangers. Yeah. Okay.
Would be good.
All right. We'll come back to that over as well on the gridiron. Matt Gauthier said 2 overs and a favorite on the card. Any thoughts, Krabs? I trust my guy Jovan. If it's an over, if it's a favorite, I'm taking it. I don't give a fuck. All right. How about UNC in college basketball tonight? Game of the night tonight. And I'm rolling with the Tar Heels. Is this not the best Tar Heels team we've seen in a couple of years? I think roster-wise it is. I'm pretty excited to watch Kyron Evans this season. I think he's an absolute stud. Comes over from, I believe, Colorado State. And this kid is an absolute shot jacker. He makes plays, great passer as well. He's going to be the best player on the floor in this game, in my opinion. He's going to be an NBA player as well. Buy stock now in Kyron Evans, or I think he used to go by KC Evans. I don't know if he goes by that nickname anymore, but This kid is going to be running the show here for UNC, and I'm thinking that UNC wins this game. Love seeing them as a favorite against Kansas. They're probably going to be a favorite against Kansas at home down there in Chapel Hill, but I did think it was a good sign, and I think most people would probably value Kansas as a better squad overall, more talent on the team. They'd even say better coach, certainly, right, with Bill Self against Hubert Davis, who's coaching for his fucking life right now. But I think this game means more for UNC. It means more for the Tar Heels, and I like seeing them as a favorite in this spot. I think you see UNC dominate in this game, and I think they get a big-time win. And fading Kansas, looking at the steam here up from -1.5 to -2.5. You might even see some threes popping up here soon. Looking at some of the odds for the Tar Heels as a favorite, I think it's going to be UNC here at home. I want to back Kyron Evans, and I want to fade Bill Self and this Kansas team that everybody thinks is a shoe-in to be a top 10 team in the country. They got some talented players, don't get me wrong, but I'm buying into UNC in the Big 2-5. We'll see how it works out. I think they get a big-time win to start out their season here. I know they're already 1-0, but that first game doesn't mean shit. This is the first game that really matters for both these squads. I think you see Bill Self and Kansas fall. Give me the Tar Heels on the ML.
Sure. Shout out the fading one of the best freshmen in college basketball. I figured that would be on the card at some point for you, Krabs.
Yep.
Darren Peterson, go.
Yep. Yeah, getting a lot of talk about him on Twitter, saying he's the best guard prospect in college basketball already. We'll see. I think Evans on UNC is better. See how that goes tonight.
Good be.
Okay. All right. We'll come back around to play the Eon, play the Century there with Tulane. I'm sure you'll have some thoughts there as well. I want to hear about this over in Northwestern and USC. We'll get to it. I want to hear your sell job here first.
Yeah, I like points in this game, which USC is coming off of a hard-fought win, which don't really think they probably would have won had Raiola been in there and played toward the end instead of getting hurt. Right. But they didn't cover the game. It was a low-scoring game, slugfest, and that was actually Northwestern's last game too. They had a few more points. They both played Nebraska, but Northwestern, they play very different games. Like on paper, they're a slower team, more defensive team. And a lot of that's because of how they play on defense. They kind of limit everything over the top. So, like, you have to march down the field super methodically on them. The thing is, like, you can tell a stark difference. There are some teams that can take advantage of that on offense. There are other teams that clearly cannot, and they've had success against the teams that cannot. And that's where you get, like, the super low-scoring 19-0 games like they had against Purdue. You do that against Lincoln Riley, he will take whatever you give him all fucking day. And I love to give Lincoln Riley a lot of shit because he's a stubborn head coach. His scheme needs some adjusting when it comes to the better Big Ten schools, but Northwestern in this defense is not one of them. So if you want to give him everything short, he's going to march down the field like a hot knife through butter on this defense. So I think they're going to put up a lot of points, contrary to what they betted last week and really for the last handful of games against like these smaller teams. So I think they're going to come out fired up. But I also think Northwestern against this team where I do still kind of have some questions about USC's run defense, and they're really good against Michigan. Other than that, they've been pretty suspect, even in some softer matchups. And if you give Preston Stone in this offense a little bit of a base, which I'm kind of weirded out by the spread in this game. I don't know if you are too, Krabs. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
I like the dog.
Yeah, I kind of lean Northwestern's way. I think the offense is going to be one of the reasons why, because I think they're going to be able to run the ball on USC's front seven a little bit, which makes life easier for Preston Stone when he's back there chucking the ball 50 times with a pass rush every single time against really tough run defenses. Like he's not doing well and he's turning the ball over, which he might turn the ball over now, and hopefully that leads to a short field for points. But I think he'll be able to run the ball, which will make drives easier for them. So it might be a little bit of a slower burn just because of how Northwestern plays defensively, but I don't see them stopping USC too much, and I think they can hang in with their offense. So I like points.
All right. Yeah, I like Komalafe in his matchup here. He's going to be a pretty big key asset on the offense there for Northwestern. If you're talking about the Trojan suspect rushing defense, I think he's going to have a big day. Okay.
Yeah.
Cal for Northwestern. Let's hope it doesn't all fall on Preston Stone's shoulders. I like the dog in this one, but I feel like the dog and the over probably go hand in hand with this play because Northwestern probably doesn't cover unless they put up some points.
Yeah.
We know the Trojans are scoring a little bit, whether they cover or not.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like
they got a Maeva 1.5 passing touchdowns goblin up there after 0 in the last game. So we know they're scoring, right? Yeah. It's a matter of if Northwestern is, and I think they have a pretty good matchup.
Sure.
Right? All right. Let's move. Let's groove. W Money Habits, 5-stream streak. Appreciate you, Beast. W stream streaks from all you goats. One and only Casper. Appreciate you as well. Book it bang. 30-stream streak. That's insane. You know what else is insane? Tulane getting 3.5 points in this spot on the roads after they got absolutely demolished by UTSA. Right? Insane. UTSA, we saw what they're about last night, right? UTSA, just getting absolutely clapped in that game. So you got to fade them coming off their legacy performance, and you got to back Tulane, the team that they spanked last week. Unfortunately, here on the road against Red Hot Memphis, who should have their QB in the lineup here, right? Have you heard anything else about Brendan Lewis?
I mean, they're keeping it very cryptic. So I still wonder if either somebody knows that he's not playing or they just think that he's not playing with this line.
Yeah, the line has some serious respect for Tulane, right? Especially if he plays. If he trots out there like nothing's happening and this spreads at 3.5, I'm feeling pretty good about my Tulane bet.
Yeah,
I am.
It won't be that.
Might not be. The books know all. They know more than us, like you're saying. And if you think that line is short, it's probably because they know that Brendan Lewis is not playing in this game. And I think this is going to be a good one, man. I want to back Jake Retzlaff, who is a winner, proven winner, coming off his worst start probably of the season. He's been throwing picks left and right. He's not taking care of the ball. This is a game where John Summerall locks in that defense as well, and they make stuff happen against Memphis, who's just had an absolutely dominant offense, the most dominant offense I've seen probably out of the group of four in college football so far this season. So they're coming off a big-time win against Rice where we tried to fade him and get cute at that game at Rice where there was about 30 people in the crowds. This one at home for Memphis, QB's banged up. They got a crazy square up for the running back from Memphis that we're going to talk about in a moment that looks like he's going to be staying out of the end zone after he scored every game so far this season. I'll take Tulane. I'll buy low after they got destroyed last week when people think their college football hopes are dead. They probably are, but if anybody can motivate the squad to get going here, it's John Summerall on the roads after that atrocious performance against UTSA on the road as well. I think you see Tulane get their leg back tonight and at least keep it within a field goal, if not win outright.
Short. Yeah, I'll tip cap.
Want to hear your thoughts, man.
Till I know Brendan Lewis is playing, if that's the case, I'll leave my foot out of Berg. But the second he gets announced, if that's the case, I'm taking it.
All right. See how it goes. They should just cover and win every game, right?
Yeah, sometimes. Might get them.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Swinging around, I want to hear your sell job on NC State on the hardwoods.
Shout out Will Wade. I'll probably be backing him a good bit in conference play, not just because I have tonsils for his whole system there, but looking at some of the teams they face, UAB is one of them. Out of the higher or better teams they play, like the better mid-majors, which I guess you could kind of classify UAB as they play tonight, but out of the teams they play, they're not one of the better ones. But a lot of the teams really struggle. They want to run fast and they can't shoot very well. So if you're Will Wade, who all at McNeese and all at LSU, the system's been all the same. He wants to pack the paint. He wants to make it a slower, grinded-out game. He wants to make you a three-point shooting team. There's a lot of teams on the schedule that can't really do that for a variety of reasons. And UAB feels like the most interesting one, which also happens to be the first real one where they're a big athletic team, or not a big athletic team, but an athletic team that wants to play super fast. We talked about this with Mississippi Valley State, which they covered by a billion because Miss Valley State is garbage. But all they want to do is run to the rim. All they want to do is play faster than they were able to with Yaxel. The problem with that is exactly what I just said. Will Wade, not only does he have a much bigger team now, with McNeese, he was running the system and it was working really well, even against some better teams when he was running out a 6'7" center. Now you have three guys that are starting in the lineup that are taller than that now. So you got a lot more physicality in the system. They're going to make UAB a three-point shooting team for the entirety of this game. I don't think they have many willing shooters, and they want to run fast and get into their offense that way. Will Wade is going to slow you down, not quite to UVA level, but he's going to make your offense a grinded-out game. So now I think this game's BTA, which is probably why, a little late to this number because I think they got steamed up damn near a touchdown at this point, but I think it gets ugly.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it early on in the college basketball season. Got to square up and use your basketball brain a little bit more than we will down the stretch. And this could certainly be a spot where we could still buy a little low on NC State and Will Wade's Wolfpack before the books are hip to how good this team already is in year one. As an ACC guy, I concur. This team is legit. This team is legit. We got Baumgartner Jackson getting involved, resubbing. Can we clap it up for Baumgartner Jackson real quick? W. Baumgartner Jackson, you're him. Appreciate you, Beast. How about a 37-month sub streak? Attaboy. Attaboy. All right. Let's move.
Super randomly too, Krabs. This game, I found out, is here for whatever reason.
Neutral sites.
Like right down the street. It's VCU, Utah State. It's right down the street in Frisco. I don't know who made that happen, but
yeah,
here for some reason.
What is the Comerica Center? Who plays there?
That's the Stars like practice area. They practice in Frisco, and the G League Mavs team also plays there.
Okay. All right.
So super random non-con mid-major game that's in Frisco for whatever reason.
All right. You going to step over there and go to that game?
Might consider.
Probably not worth your time.
Yeah, probably not. We got Greg on TV tonight.
We got Greg, and we're fading him. Yep. W Budman Subby. Yeah, how about a consensus? How about a toothpaste in this game? Don't you just love seeing this up there on the board? Yep. How about Budman coming and resubbing as well for 43 months? Wow, Budman. You're him. Let's go, Budman. Appreciate you, Beast. Krabs, why did UNC jump to minus 155? Was minus 115 this morning. No way it's up to minus 155, Nikki Gortz. Is it really that juicy? That's a good sign. But yeah, let's talk about why we're fading Greg. Greg has scored. Has he scored in every single game this season?
Well, he missed a bunch of games. So
yeah. Every game he's played.
Yeah. Everyone he's played except for the Arkansas game.
Yep. Pretty crazy streak he's on. And I do like the under in this game. I think this is going to be a nail biter. I think this could be a close, low-scoring affair. A lot of nerves in this game, without Brendan Lewis or not. This is a big game for both sides. Tulane as well, coming off that atrocious loss as a favorite to UTSA. I think their defense shows up, reigns supreme, wreaks havoc a little bit. Their D-line gets going. I think you get a couple sacks, a couple long, second and longs or third and longs here for Memphis, and you're not going to see Greg utilized as much in this contest. And respectfully, when Memphis is playing from behind, you're going to see them passing the rock a lot more than you're going to see them feeding Greg, which has worked pretty good so far this season. This kid's a stud, don't get me wrong. He goes to a school as well that just absolutely produces, stud running backs, produces NFL running backs and NFL talent at that position. And Greg is probably next up. He's healthy as an ox right now. He's looking sharp. He's coming off a bunch of touchdowns in his last couple games. In my opinion, though, in a game I like the under in, a game I like the dog in, I think they got to keep him out of the end zone if they want a chance to win this game outright. And seeing this square up there, thought it was pretty weird. The only normal touchdown square up there on the boards for tonight's games. I know there's only 3, and there's a couple big spreads in these games and a couple crummy teams playing, so I get it. But looks like a pretty easy more than the click considering the chart is completely green. So, I'll go ahead and fade our guy Greg here. Unfortunately, he scored was that FAU game this season as well, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he scored, 7 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Absolutely absurd square to have up there. Looks like the freest more than you can click on the boards. If Tulane wants to keep this game close, and look, if there's one good part about Tulane's defense, I feel like it is that D-line. They're top 75 in the country at opponent rushing yards per game, so nothing to write home about to Ma or Pa, but also not an atrocious front there for Tulane. So I think they can keep Greg out of the end zone. And when they're losing in this game, respectfully, you're going to see Brendan Lewis and co airing this puppy out to get back into it.
Yeah, sure. That would be nuck.
Yep.
That would be really nuck.
And then Jake Retzlaff has been a pick machine of late. He's not taking care of the football. I'm sure at this point, Summerall's talked to him and said, hey, we got 3 other QBs in the wait-in right now. If you keep fucking up, keep turning the ball over, you're getting benched. Would not be shocked, honestly. And let's not forget, this kid came in like 2 weeks before the season. It's honestly pretty impressive how he's played overall. learning the offense on the fly. So let's give Jake some credit here. A guy who was a winner at BYU, had some sketchy stuff go on there. He dipped last second, and he comes over to Tulane, takes over the offense, and he's been great so far this season until the last 2 games, Jovan, where he threw a pick against Army, which is unacceptable. Looking at that Army team that Tashal himself compared to recent years. And then he throws 2 picks last week against UTSA. Enough is enough, Jake. Take care of the football. Don't be a superhero. And I think they have a chance to maybe run the rock a little bit more than people expect in this game as well. If they're playing up in this game like I'm expecting them to at some point, you're not going to need to see Jake taking too many shots down the field in this one. I'll take his less than half a pick after he's thrown 3 in the last 2 games. Pretty green chart there. I think we'll take the less than on this pick square for Tulane. If he throws a pick, they're not covering this game.
God damn it, Krabs, make me lock in this 2-piece, man.
I want to see the screenshot, too. Yep. Because, hey, when it's green, you'll be thanking me. You'll be writing me thank you cards. Right?
Honestly, if it hits and they lose the game, I'll be even more mad.
No, you'll be happy because at least you got something out of it. Okay? That's what I'm here to provide you, Jovan. And your team's not winning tonight. One of your 15 teams isn't winning tonight. But we could still hit a sharp report format. You got to look at the positives here, Jovan. Look at the positives here. I want to see that screenshot.
That's me.
I want to see that screenshot. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Jake throwing a pick tonight. Go Memphis. Big Cheesy saying, great. Love it even more.
He's rooting for our future.
He's rooting for the future, which you could cash tonight potentially.
Yeah.
That win total, I believe.
Yep.
You could wait another week.
They can win by 3.
Sure.
Win by 3, we win. That's best case.
That's a win-win-win. We know that's not happening. That's a rare win-win-win. So that's probably not going to happen. All right. Tell me why John Morant's dropping at 24-piece.
Yeah. After some shit squares, just decided to go with what I know is fucking green. Go with the gut reads, which I'm tired of not getting involved with this Mavs defense right now. Again, because they're pretty shorthanded right now, but it's just what they are right now. Their rim defense is fucking pitiful. I watched the Pelicans walk them down. Jeremiah Fears walked them down. Even like the backups off the bench walked them down. And it's been the same story the entirety of the year, or at least since AD's been out. Cooper Flagg is not shit at the rim. Daniel Gafford is not shit at the rim. D'Lo is letting all of these point guards walk by to the rim. And right now, what better guy needs just a good fuck you game than John Morant? Not many. He's bitching about he's lost his joy. They're asking him he's not playing fun or whatever it is in the interviews. He's been dog meat over the last handful of games. Nobody on this team really looks inspired. Well, what's the big kicker? When you can literally just rim run against the Mavs defense for the entirety of the 4th quarters that you play tonight. And I think he's going to be busting tonight. I think, just like I said, he needs a game like this badly, and you got a golden matchup to do it. I think this is exactly when you get it. So give me Ja.
Right.
And then Moussa Diabate. Bam Adebayo's hurt today, just kind of Moose. I think I didn't get the update on if his injury is serious or not. I hope it's not, but he at least ain't playing today, which means Kel'el Ware is going to be starting. And Kel'el Ware, every time he has an opportunity, not only is he like soft as is in the paint, but every time he gets an opportunity, especially in a faster paced game, he ends up in foul trouble. But regardless of that, Diabate is probably going to be coming off the bench. I don't know what Kalkbrenner is probably also going to get in a little foul trouble too, but I don't know who's playing center for the Heat after that because they really don't have one besides Kel'el, because the tallest guy on the roster that's getting actual minutes besides Kel'el Ware now is Nikola Jovic, who is very clearly not a center. And I really think the Heat are going to struggle with the backup bigs or just a backup lineup in general because they don't really have any size. And add into that, if Kel'el Ware gets into foul trouble, which he always fucking does, I think this is barbecue chicken where Diabate spawns with a double-double.
Okay. All right. Love the sell jobs here. Couple things. We got Juiced Wayne getting involved, dropping a 10-unit sub. Well, let's go, Juice Wayne. Attaboy. Appreciate you, bro. 10 subbies. Those don't grow on trees.
Let's go, Juice.
Because I want the squad ride on Twitch, boys. No bullshit. Juiced Wayne, bless your heart. Oh, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that simple. I wish we could do it on Twitch, too. I do. I wish we could. But you guys ruined it. For a month and a half, you guys ruined it. We can't go back. We can't go back. I'm sorry. We can't.
You're sneaky hitting, too. Don't want to knock on wood there, but
sure.
I like the way we're trending. The ones on Twitter.
Juice Wayne, you're him, bro. I really appreciate the feedback, and I love where your head's at. I wish we could do it on Twitch as well, but unfortunately, people find more joy in trolling the Squad Ride poll than they do finding winners. So, yeah, I wish that wasn't the case, but again, it's not on me. It's not on Jovan. It's, in this case, we love to blame Goots. Not even on Goots. Can't blame him.
Might be on Goots.
It's on you guys. It's on you guys. Safe travels again today for Goots. I believe he's doing part 2 of his drive down there to Dallas. So keep him in mind. Hopefully he gets there safe. It's not safe driving that far, man. You got to be on your shits. You got to be locked in. Keep Goots in mind, guys. Let's hope he gets down there safe. All right. Don Smooth, 10 stream streak. Spread tonight. Horrible game. Last game. -5 or 6 against the Bulls. On fire right now. Fuck the Bulls. Don Smooth says he likes the Bucks tonight. Okay. He likes the Bucks tonight. All right. Appreciate the subbies. Another couple things here. John Morant. Was it last night or 2 nights ago? Was Kevin Durant chirping John Morant's dad or some shit? Was that real?
Yeah.
Was that a real video?
That was a real video.
Wow. Well, after that happens, I'm assuming this is the first game since that happened, right? It's probably
believe so.
Could be a good time to back Ja. I'm sure he saw that video. Ridiculous video. KD is such a troll. Unbelievable. Who does that? Right?
I don't know.
Also, forgot to give you in the chat a thank you card for the Clippers last night, making me bet them, making me bet Bradley Beal. Appreciate that one.
Yeah, that was real bad.
At what point do we just say Bradley Beal sucks and he's a me guy and he does not care about the team or winning? And we could have made coins fade him last night. Again, we're over here betting on him and betting on the Clippers. Shit that. I blame more chat than you on that one, though. They love that shit. They were screaming all caps, shark Krabs play, Krabs POD in the NBA. How do I not tell that? Next thing you know, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Appreciate you guys on that one. Only loser yesterday was that play. Job got bumped up to 24.5. Let's go, Jovan. Cash it.
Cash it, dude. Let's go.
Cash it. There we go. My favorite segment is Beal slander. Let's not forget that Bradley Beal played the victim card in D.C., got paid a handsome bag, and he was just could not give 2 shits less about the team. Could not give 2 shits less. They ship him off. The Suns don't want him. He plays like shit. Now he's on the Clippers, and he's even worse. They need to study that fall off because there's not a lot of fall offs that are that significant than Bradley Beal. What a bad person. Really is. At his core, bad guy. Bradley Beal, bad guy. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Fuck Bradley Beal and GTA. Sade says, if this BTL format doesn't hit, nope, we're not going to say that, Sade, and we're going to go and lock this puppy in. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Going to start reading these chats before I start reading them. Okay. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, we want to talk about some college football this weekend. You ready?
Sure.
Run that shit.
Slip. That's on me. It's on me. One more time for the culture.
Chat, what if I told you the Tampa Bay Rays have never won a World Series? Would you believe me? When they get all this credit, all this talk about being a blue-collar squad, a blue-collar team, they work hard, they outsmart people, they outwork people. For what? You might as well sit on your ass and be like the Yankees and just fucking buy your players. Oh, wait, you can't because you have no money. Never won a World Series down there in Tampa. So poor, you have to play in the Yankees, your division rivals, AAA stadium, while you repair your piece of shit stadium that got blown over by a gust of wind. And it takes you a year and a half to redo it because you're so poor you can't just build a new stadium. What an absolute joke of a ball club. You could not catch me twice rooting for the Rays. With that being said,
the Rays are only 4 years older than me, man. It's coming.
Well, the Nats are actually newer than the Rays. Did you know that? And they have a ring. I don't know if you knew that either.
They're not newer than the Rays, man.
Pretty sure they are. Yes.
They are not.
Pretty sure they are.
They're not.
Well, W collab Rav. Rav, rumor has it you're doing the surge stream today. Appreciate you, Beast. Yeah, no way we're talking about the Expos.
Yeah,
it's not the same team, in my opinion. When you cross a border, in my opinion, to move a team, that's you hit the reset button. You get the restart. So it's actually a brand new franchise in DC. No way we're counting the Expos. Like, what do the Expos have to do with the Nats? That's some bullshit.
It's an established organization.
Yeah, and I'd love to take credit for all the good things that the Expos have done, all the stars they've had. I don't, personally. I don't. Nats 2005, Rays 1998.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the name of the franchise. The franchise existed when they're the Expos.
Not buying it. Not counting
it. What do you
it.
mean not buying it?
When you cross a border and move to a different country, your team resets. You don't carry over. If you move within the country, you can carry over. You move out of the country, you don't. That's a new rule I'm implementing here. Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and get involved here with some snooze fests. Okay. Cannot believe you're running Mickey Mouse graphics when your team has never won a ring, by the way. But I digress. Let's go ahead and move and groove. Let's talk about the under in Oregon and Iowa. A lot of bets on both sides in this game, and I can't get a read on what I like. I probably would lean Iowa. But, Jovan, in my brain here, if Iowa covers or, hey, even wins this game, and I don't know if you saw the Kirk Herbstreit clip. I think he was on McAfee's show, and he was talking about how Iowa's going to win this game outright, which I'm sure that's going to be bulletin board material for Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks, which certainly scares me a hair because if anybody can use that to motivate his squad, it's probably Dan Lanning. If Iowa wins this game, which, by the way, they're sneakily ranked and nobody's talking about them at all. They've won 4 of their last 5. They're starting to look pretty good. That defense, once again, is doing their thing. But if they cover this game, if they pull off the upset and win this game, the game's got to go under, respectfully, because Oregon's defense has some guys who are going to be playing on Sundays. And I think this is a smash spot for the under, Jovan. I think it goes hand in hand with Iowa in this game. I think it's a good time to fade Iowa's offense as well, because even if they do win or cover this game, I don't think it's going to be because of their offense after they scored 41 points against Minnesota. When's the last time Iowa scored back-to-back 40 paces? I don't even know if they ever have, to be honest with you. So perfect time to fade their offense there. Their offenses look great the last couple weeks. 25 points against Penn State, which is pretty good. Penn State still has some guys on that defense. They might not have a coach, but they have some guys. A 37 Berg against Wisconsin. You better score 30-plus points against Wisconsin. That team's a fucking joke. Their offenses look pretty good the last couple weeks. Nobody's talking about this QB for Iowa and his struggles of late, really. Their offense has been fine. Oregon, on the other hand, their offense only put up 21 points against Wisconsin last week in a snooze fest of a game. Sure, they won. They didn't even come close to covering in that game. And their defense showed up, though, and they held Wisconsin, who's atrocious, to 7 points. So I like the under in this game, Jovan. I think it's pretty crazy seeing a total at 41.5 involving the Oregon Ducks, who have this powerhouse offense. I think it's pretty telling how this game's going to go on the road. It's going to be an absolute slugfest, a dogfight. And it's just an underscript if I've ever seen one. So fading Iowa's offense after a big-time performance the last couple of weeks, perfect time to sell high on the Hawkeyes offense. And you know what? I don't think Oregon's going to shine. I don't think Dante Moore's going to look great on the road against this Iowa Hawkeyes defense. In the under.
Sure. I'm in on that. It's going to be some shit weather in that game, too. Looks like.
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt the under. That's for sure. Okay. What do you like about the under in San Diego State, Hawaii?
San Diego State, sneaky. They've gotten a lot of low totals, so I've taken some overs, especially earlier in the season, but their defense is fucking good, man. A lot of those overs have not hit because of what their defense has given up. It's been quite the other way around. So now they're up to a touchdown favorite on the island, which I think is a lot of respect, despite how good they've been so far this year. But in watching their defense, they get to the quarterback quickly. And a lot of the stuff, a lot of the pressure packages they bring remind me a lot of Todd Bowles, meaning that there's a lot of disguised looks. You get pressure from 6 different places. There's rotating linebackers, rotating in the front 7. So it makes it all a very confusing look for the quarterback, which if you know how Hawaii's system works, it's a lot of first reads. So if you're Mike Alejado in the offense that just had, maybe game of year, even though they lost at San Jose State in a game that had 80-plus points, I think. It was like 48, 41 or whatever it was, somewhere close there. Absolute shootout, one of the better games of the weekend. I think now you're going to see a little drop off offensively from them. And even if they do somehow hang in this game, I don't think it's going to be because their offense is tearing this defense that's damn good apart. I think it's going to be because San Diego State kind of shortens the game, and Hawaii's defense actually steps up too, which they're sneaky good against the pass in some certain situations. And you got Jaden Denigal, who I really like, actually. He's a little banged up coming into this game. Don't even know if he's certain to play. We'll find that out once we get to game time. But I think they'll be able to run on Hawaii a little bit, and that's going to make this game gross, ugly, and slow because I don't think Hawaii's offense is going to be doing much at all.
You know what could be the key of this under in this game?
What could be the key?
The hefty lefty, Gabe Plascencia, the kid I was talking about, the stud kicker for the Aztecs. This kid was perfect all season until last week. He finally missed his first kick of the year. He had like a crazy streak going on. He had a 25 field goal streak. This kid's going to be kicking on Sundays, I'll tell you right now, folks. But maybe he gets in his head a little bit here after his first miss of the season. Maybe you see the hefty lefty shank one, rare, right? Back-to-back games, but maybe it throws off his mojo. We know kicking is pretty much all confidence and all mental. I could so see the hefty lefty shanking one here, and that could be good for your under. Certainly going to be plenty of field goal attempts when their drives stall out, but as a under better, you're probably fine with field goal attempts in this game. Just keep an eye on the end zone.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how we
hefty lefty. Say it. I did not even make that up. That's actually his nickname. And he's a stud. You guys know I'm a big feet guy, big kicker guy. Love taking kicker squares on prize picks, especially in the NFL. And, you know, I got my eyes on this kid. He's the next big stud. No pun intended. Big boy. Lefty as well. Love rooting for him, but not when we have this bet going. You have to be rooting against him. So he shanks another one. Okay? Big feet guy. Easy puck. Yep. Big feet guy. Certainly. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some overs. Chad loves that shit. Jovan had this game circled, had this bet circled before the season even started. Navy's offense, good. Blake Horvath, really good ball player. Good kid. He's going to be a Navy pilot as well. He's going to be flying planes in the military in a matter of months. You don't think he's going to leave it all out there on the field against Notre Dame in this game this weekend, Jovan? Come on. He's going to give it all he has. And coming off an atrocious performance last week, shout out to Midshipman. Just an absolute dog shit performance. I'm assuming you had eyeballs on that game and saw what North Texas did to us. You saw, and remind me what the running back's name is on North Texas, but he had 4 touchdowns and he looked like prime Adrian Peterson.
Caleb Hawkins.
Unbelievable. I mean, he was absolutely stiff-arming guys into the fucking dirt, into the grave during that game. You couldn't take him down with 1 or 2 guys. It took a whole fucking group to take his ass down. That goes to show you how bad this Navy defense is, Jovan. They can't tackle to save their life. What do you think Jeremiah Love is going to do to this defense if we saw Hawkins have 4 touchdowns and 200 yards in the game of his life in that game? I don't care how square that take is. Jeremiah Love is going to grub, especially when Blake Horvath, Navy, Heidenreich, who's literally Christian McCaffrey. I hope this kid gets drafted. I'm not talking about the war. I'm talking about the NFL. I hope we get a chance to see this kid play on Sundays, Jovan, because he is just a treat. He is a delight to watch. He's literally Christian McCaffrey in every capacity, on the field, off the field. This kid's McCaffrey. He's CMC. And he is unbelievable what he's done lining up outside this season when he was pretty much a running back the last 2 years. He's now just a wide receiver for the squad. He's so good, and he's had some great games. So he's going to be effective in this game as well. Blake Horvath and this Navy offense coming off a stinker. Where pretty much their season's over now after that loss to North Texas. Their college football hopes and dreams are crushed. But if there's one team you can back to leave the bullshit to the side, to bounce back after their season hopes are crushed, it's the goddamn Navy midshipmen. And they're going to be locked in, dialed in for a rivalry game up there in South Bend this weekend. And they're going to put up 25 points in this game. And if they could do that, Notre Dame's going to score 50. This one's going to get ugly, Jovan. I really think it will. I think Notre Dame is going to score at will. I don't think it's going to be a big CJ Carr game. I think it's a big Jeremiah Love game. And I think you see Navy follow suit, carry their weight, keep up with this Notre Dame offense and put up some points as well. Love this over. Is it crazy to say it's my favorite over the college football season?
Wow.
Think it is.
Wow.
Yep. Think it is.
Nah.
Yep. Favorite over the college football season. I'll say it.
Nah.
I'll say it. Big game.
You don't get those too much from Krabs, man.
No, you don't. I hate almost every over's guts. Not this one.
Everyone.
Not this one. Had this one circled on the calendar for months. Yep.
Unbelievable.
And guys, that Navy defense is, respectfully, they are that bad. They usually have like a guy or two. They've even had guys go to the NFL recently. Fago went to the NFL linebacker. They typically have a couple good defensive linemen or a linebacker. They got nothing this year, man. They got nothing. Oh, Notre Dame's going to slice and dice them up. Jeremiah Love's going to have a career game. Career game. Oh. W. Ron in the YouTube. We got hundreds of people in here. We only got 6 likes on the YouTube. Come on now. Come on now. Drop some likes. Drop some likes. Get involved. All right, Jovan, want to hear why we're getting the shootouts? I mean, these are just 2 unbelievable games. 2 games I cannot be more excited for. 2 night games as well, by the way. Cannot wait for Late Night Beef versus Sam Houston. Let's hear it.
Yeah, somebody in chat said rooting for a midnight under is such a Krabs move out of me in the Hawaii game. Well, that's only because we got game of year at the same time that we're rooting for points. So it's acceptable. Scales are balanced. But I had to take the over in this game for obvious reasons. I mean, this is the worst game, maybe the worst game of the college football season. You can argue Sam Houston's had a couple of those, but it's a weird one now because it's like a matchup that doesn't always happen against the moose shit. I mean, Pac-12 team, quote unquote, but lower tier power conference team by the technicality of it. But this is weird because this game, there's uncertainty at quarterback for both teams. I don't know what Oregon State's plan is because they tried Jabari Johnson, who got hurt at the end of the game, and then Malik Murphy came in, and maybe Malik Murphy starting this game. Hunter Watson's banged up, so they might go to Landon Locke if you're Sam Houston in this game. But I don't think it really matters because both of these run defenses are fucking horrid. And for Sam Houston, Elijah Green seems to be back and healthy. He was dealing with an injury for a lot of the season, and he came back randomly against Louisiana Tech and had damn near 200 yards. He looked fucking great. Not that it mattered in that game because they got their shit pumped, but he looked great. And if he's good to go for the rest of the season, big news for the offense, especially if Hunter Watson is able to go. Hankerson might run for 300 yards, depending on how long he's in this game for Oregon State against that Sam Houston defense. Pick your poison. They're horrible everywhere, but I think there's going to be a lot of explosives in this game, unlike the super weird windy game or whatever it was for Oregon State last time out against Wazoo and the Pac-12 ship, quote unquote. That game had 17 points, but what do you know? It's a point of movement, but the over's going up a little bit for a reason. Why would over be going up or total be going up in Sam Houston, Oregon State? You could ask yourself that question because we're getting points in this game. Worst game of year.
Yeah, I think it's the best game of the year, to be honest. Why are we not just laying it with the beef, man? I mean, what a crazy number that is. Sam Houston's just that bad. I think Oregon State's going to put up a 40-piece in this game, get some of their anger out. The books can't keep up with how bad Sam Houston is, man, and it's sad. It really is. It breaks my heart. But this Sam Houston team, I believe they're 1-7 against the spreads. I mean, Hunter Watson, grab some pine, buddy. I think it's time. Just absolutely terrible. The new offense, just new coach comes in and takes over after the coach who's a legend in the FCS ranks, heads to Temple and gets that team turned around as well. This new coach who came in, it might be a one and done for him because this is just an absolute joke. It's a clown show out there in Sam Houston. It's sad. I feel bad for those kids that have some talent on both sides of the ball, but it's just not showing. It's not showing. What a crazy number. They got a handful of guys, but they have no depth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the players for that system are really bad.
It takes 22. It doesn't take 5 in football, right? So, their average players are atrocious. They got a couple studs, but that's it. And I mean, this spread is just absolutely ridiculous, Jovan. 20.5 up from 17.5. I think this is just a good old fashioned beatdown. I think the Beeve has some momentum after 2 straight wins. They were 0-for. I think they make it 3 in a row, and I think this one gets ugly. How about a late night game on the CW to take the edge off here? And how about some points?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Beeve roll. I will say, as high as this spread is, and as much as they would think Sam Houston had no shot, I would think with a minus 20.5 they are now.
Yep.
If Sam Houston was really going to bagel, I feel like this total would be in the 40s.
Yeah.
Mid 40s.
Yeah. I think they'll put up a couple points.
Yeah.
Put up a fight. Okay. CW is consistent. Yeah, it might look like you're watching on a potato. It might look like it's 480p and the mics barely work and who knows who's commentating, but at least you know it's on TV. And they're not, corporate greed's not affecting the CW. That's for sure. It'll be on damn near every night.
Yeah.
The Hokies play a lot on the CW. They do. I watch it almost every weekend. All right, let's move. Let's groove. We don't have time to talk about the Hokies. Unfortunately, you guys are lucky. And I believe we have a bye this week, so you guys are double lucky. And I'm lucky as well because I don't have to watch that shit product. All right, let's talk about some blowouts. Oh, good to see you're going back to Miami again. That should work. We'll get to it in a sec. Can we talk about Texas Tech here first? I got to fade the Mormons, Jovan. Has to be done. Open up at 9.5, up to 10.5. This one's going to be ugly, in my opinion. BYU gets their first loss of the season, and it's not going to be close. You look at the squares up there for Bear, the QB for BYU. It's not looking like he's going to have his best game either. And, hey, he's done enough so far this season. He's been pretty impressive, and he's trying to prove us wrong so far this season. But you look at his rushing yard square, it's completely green. It's pretty low. It's actually dropped a rushing yard or two as well. And again, when they get in trouble, when they need a big play, it's usually Bear stepping up with his legs. So that's a great sign for Texas Tech. His passing yards is also a little bit lower than I expected. I don't think it's going to be a big Bear game. And he's been pretty much carrying this offense the last couple of weeks. They're coming off an insane win against Iowa State on the road, an absolute blowout, 41-27. The week before that, they beat Utah when they were dogs as well. So back-to-back games, winning outright as dogs against pretty good opponents. They're taking care of business right now. This BYU team is legit, but I think it's time to back the Red Raiders in this game. It's a noon game in Lubbock. And I think this team's already gotten their loss out of the way so far this season. I think they went out the rest of the way. And I think they get a big-time win. This spread is absurd, 10.5 points against an undefeated BYU squad that's ranked ahead of Texas Tech. The spread tells all in this one. Get the eighth-ranked Red Raiders. I think they stomp them, and they put up a big old number offensively in this game. They score plenty. I think they're scoring 30-plus in this game. And I think they get a big-time cover and win by 10-plus with these.
Yeah, man. No, you're probably not in on the Canes, but has to be the Canes, Krabs.
Okay.
Has to be the Canes, which I think the spread's pretty fat, to be honest with you. It's Syracuse, so obviously they're not going to be a bunch of respect, but they are going back to Ricky Collins this week, which he's not the saving grace by any means, but at least he's not a walk-on lacrosse player that can't throw a forward pass, which I don't know what that whole situation is. That is certainly weird and makes me want to fade it, period, because there's definitely some locker room behind-the-scenes stuff that we may not know, causing some turmoil in the Q's locker room. But Miami is coming off of obviously that dog meat performance, especially from Carson Beck, and that loss at SMU. Big trap game, I guess you could say, but they just looked awful all the way through. They couldn't finish drives. Carson Beck had, untimely turnover in overtime. Now you come back and you're laying 4 touchdowns and a hook at home against a team that, defensively is god awful. They'll have their way with them. They won't have any trouble finishing drives against this dog meat defense. But offensively, I'm just not so sure. Even with Ricky Collins, who's a big upgrade compared to the other 2 quarterbacks they played last week, which is crazy to say out loud. I don't know how they're going to move the ball. Ricky Collins not only struggles throwing the ball downfield, but the second he gets a lick of pressure on him, he freaks out. He has absolutely nothing, nowhere to go. And Syracuse offensive line is a little banged up. They've been all banged up all season, but they're also not good. The thing you can't say about Miami every single time, no matter what you think about Carson Beck, no matter what you think about the offense, that front seven is damn good. They're going to get pressure on almost any offensive line, especially when you have a quarterback that really doesn't know what to do under pressure. I don't know what he's going to do. This reminds me a lot of what Duke did against Syracuse, which was also on the road, I believe. But that was like a 38-3 disgusting game where they could never really move the ball forward. I don't think Carson Beck has to be Superman in this game for them to cover and win by 30.
Okay. Can't forget what Syracuse did to Miami last year.
Exactly. Yeah. Means a little more, even though some different players on the roster, obviously.
Yep. Foot will be on the gas, though. Getting some revenge, and also a good time to back Miami coming off of 2 losses in their last 3 games as 10.5-point favorites against Louisville, 8.5-point favorites against SMU. Just an absolute embarrassment. Carson Beck, what a loser. No wonder why Georgia didn't want you playing like crap the last couple weeks. Sure, there was a big Stanford win mixed in between there, but at Stanford, come on, you and me could go out there and probably score a couple points against Stanford's. This is when Carson Beck's got to step up. right? Feed mini Tyreek Hill, move the rock, and keep your foot on the gas. That's what you want when you're laying a 28-point favorite. Back a motivated team that's not going to, take their foot off the gas at all in this game, no matter how many points they're up in. So I think this one could get ugly, certainly. And I think Fran Brown seems pretty checked out to me. Might be looking at where he's coaching next year at this point. And sure, they put back in the better QB, but is that going to matter against a motivated Miami defense that's pissed off after 2 losses in their last 3 games? Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some upsets, right? Yep, fading Georgia. Has to be done. Back in Mississippi State here at home, getting 9.5 points against 5th-ranked Georgia, coming off that big-time win. Georgia, a team people wrote off at some point this season. They didn't look too good early on. They had a bad loss, but they've ripped off a bunch of wins since. They've ripped off 4 straight wins in a row. Everything's starting to, fall back into place here for Gunnar Stockton and the Bulldogs, who are now looking like a college football playoff team once again. Shocker. Georgia's good again. Aren't you guys tired of seeing this shit? I certainly am a little bit. I think this game could get weird. So I'm not saying they lose outright. They probably do find a way to win. And Gunnar Stockton's pretty good at that. Kirby Smart's pretty good at that, finding ways to win in close games. But Kirby even said it himself in the halftime presser last week against Florida and said, hey, our guys are battle-tested. They're used to these close games. They love playing these close games. And if you look at Georgia's season, a lot of their games have been close. Sure, they blew out Kentucky. Kentucky sucks, but almost every win they've had has been a pretty close game, a nail-biter, a game where they had to come back in, a game that was weirdly close and maybe even closer than it should have been, hence why this team is only 3-5 against the spread, but they've been favorites in almost every game. So I don't think that's going to change overnight. I don't think that's going to change in 1 week here as they head on the road to Mississippi State in a very sleepy spot. Mississippi State quietly really good against the spreads. This team had no expectations really at all this season, but they're 8-1 against the spreads. They just keep covering the number. They keep beating the number. And sure, that might not be a crabby angle here, but the spot certainly is. A 5-4 Mississippi State team that people think has nothing to prove. Well, this is their Super Bowl as they welcome in Georgia, a team that I think they could take Mississippi State a little bit lightly here. Maybe they come in a little fat, happy, complacent, the Dogs, after that big-time win against Florida. What do they have to get up for against Mississippi State here? Well, I think Blake Shapen and co can keep this game within single digits. And I think this is a nasty, nasty spot here for Mississippi State against Georgia, who's probably looking ahead to future games and not really focused too much on Mississippi State here on the red.
Sure. Went with the Buffs, Krabs. You guys on the road in Morgantown.
Well,
maybe the sneak like one of the weirdest teams in college football because they compete when it makes sense or when it doesn't make sense. And the second you kind of expect them to put up a little bit of a fight, whether they're favorites or underdogs, they kind of do the thing that makes the least sense. Like they went on the road at BYU and somehow covered a game that they should have gotten absolutely thrashed in. They followed that up by a 32-point loss at UCF. What did they do after that? They hung in a game where they were, I think, 17-point favorites at close at home against TCU. They held TCU to 23 points. That was a mind-boggling, I guess, performance. And what did they do? They beat the shit out of fucking Houston on the road. Put up 45 points. So now, after that massive upset, one of the bigger wins that West Virginia, outside of maybe Pitt, you could say, because of the rivalry have had in like the past handful of years because they've been dog meat. After that win, they're coming home. They're 6.5-point favorites against Colorado. I think Colorado goes in there and wins. And I usually wouldn't back a quarterback making his first start on the road, but for Colorado, I will because Juju Lewis is getting a start today, who I think should have been the guy probably all along. Caden Salter sucks. Staub sucks. He's the best quarterback in that room. And to be honest, when I watched a little bit of the offense with him, sure, it was garbage time in the last game because they were getting absolutely pummeled for, the third game in a row now. The offense seemed to flow a little bit better, and I think the focus is he's allowed to make like quicker reads in the offense, which when you're facing West Virginia, they're a pass funnel defense, so they're a good run defense. Colorado doesn't want to run the ball anyway, but they'll give you a lot against that secondary. It's a little depleted, plus they also suck in the short game, so Juju Lewis can get the ball out of his hands quickly and find success in the offense. I think they're not going to have any problem moving the ball in West Virginia's defense, and I think this is a game that gets weird. I think the defense steps up too. West Virginia's had a couple of like weird performances where these quarterbacks, they have 4 of them. You don't really know who's going to play, but they've been healthy or not in and out of the game. They're not great passers, but Scotty Fox specifically has looked a little good. I don't know if they're going to use him or Wilkins. They'll probably stick with Fox. He looked great. I don't think he's going to look great. This screams a big-time West Virginia game after the past couple weeks they've had.
Yeah, I mean, I like fading West Virginia off that big-time upset against Houston. That's for sure when they were 13.5-point dogs, and they won by 10 in that game. And it can't get worse for Colorado. Nobody's talking about it. I should be talking about it more, but I feel bad for Coach Prime, all the health shit he's had to deal with. It makes me feel like a scumbag when I roast him and his team. So I've been taking it pretty easy on Coach Prime. He's had a pretty tough year, and his son sucks at QB and gets no burn for the Browns too. So it's been a really tough time for Coach Prime in the Big 2-5. I've tried to lay off the guy, right? He deserves a break. It's been a tough season for him. And I mean, this Colorado team, to put it blankly, or to put it just give it to you straight, I mean, they're dog shit. This Colorado team, Jovan, is just bad from top to bottom. What do you do to get a spark, right? What do you do to change the vibe, change the narrative? Why don't you hand the ball off to your 5-star QB? Give him a shot, right? They asked him, they said, Coach Prime, why are you making the QB change? He said, common sense. Common sense. That's why. It's time. Let the kid play. Let's see what he's got. It's their last chance, right? And you want to talk about giving the team, new life, some momentum, right? Flip that switch a little bit here for Colorado, a dead team that's lost 4 of their last 5 games, a team that's just absolutely terrible on pretty much all facets of the game. Yeah, you put in your QB, you make a change there, and you see what happens, and you give the guy the reset. You give the team a reset, and I think they could keep this game within a number. Perfect time to sell high on Dub V coming off their backyard brawl win as well. So rare. Hate Colorado, hate everything they stand for. Bunch of handouts out there in Colorado, handout central. But if we're going to back them, now's the time.
Has to be the time. Especially because their last 2 games are against Arizona State and Kansas State. So it feels like this is not that those games aren't winnable, but if you're going to start Juju Lewis the rest of the season, I mean, this is probably the worst defense you're going to have played in the Big 12 all season.
Yeah.
Let him air it out. Let him see what he's got. So throw everything out of the game.
Jacob Murray, VT would be favorites against Colorado, and they would win. They would win.
Yeah, certainly would be favorites, and I would take VT.
They would win. They'd run the ball down their throats. You got no heart on that side of the ball for Colorado, but luckily for Colorado, you're playing West Virginia this weekend and not VT. Okay? All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Cannot believe you're going to get me to bet on Coach Prime this week, but they've been so dog shit. It's probably about that time. Ooh. Speaking of dog shit, we're betting on UConn and Maryland. Let's go. Love these plays. Nobody's talking about UConn enough, I don't think. This team's been impressive. They're well coached. They have a stud QB. You guys have probably seen the tweets, about Duke and them comparing Mensa to this UConn QB who's actually kind of a stud. They're like 2 of the best QBs in college football are playing in this game. And I thought about squaring up and taking the over. I do lean the over in this game, and I know that's pretty rare from me, but I think it's going to be, Mensa overhyped in this game. It looks like the easiest bet, easiest parlay piece is to just take Duke, an ACC school, single-digit favorites against UConn, a team that nobody puts respect on. But this UConn team, they deserve a little bit more respect, in my opinion, Jovan. And this Fagnano kid, he can huck it. He might be better than Darian Mensa, and nobody's talking about it. So a lot to prove. This is UConn's Super Bowl as well. This is probably their biggest game of the season. Might not be a conference game for them, but they're a game that means something down the line. But it's a game against a real opponent here at home in Duke, and a chance for these kids who are playing at a secondary level school, not in Alabama, not in Auburn, right? Not an ACC team like Duke, great conference. But these kids can prove themselves and say, hey, we can hang with anybody. We can hang with the Blue Devils here. And this Duke defense, man, led by Manny Diaz. I thought he was supposed to be a defensive guy. Clearly not. This Duke defense is dog shit. They are really bad. So Fagnano is going to have a great game. Darian Mensa is probably going to have a couple mistakes. And I'm seeing UConn keeping this game within single digits. I wouldn't be shocked if UConn wins this game outright, to be honest with you. Duke opens up 13.5-point favorites on the road. I would have taken UConn at plus 13.5. I thought that number was right. Now we're seeing UConn down to 9.5. That is crazy short. For a UConn Huskies team that everybody thinks is a basketball school, sure they are. Okay, but Duke is a basketball school as well. And we're forgetting about it because they have one cool QB and they have a couple big wins this year and they got out to a good start in ACC play. They've won 4 of their last 5, sure. But this Duke defense is bad, and Fagnano is going to absolutely expose them on Saturday on CBS Sports Network. Give me the points. We might need them. This is going to be a single-digit game either way.
Yeah, I'm with you. Probably would have had it in my dog section if you didn't have it on the meat.
Let's go.
I'll be taking that with you.
Let's go. I'll tell you why we're taking the Terps again, man. Jesus.
Yeah, this is the game, Krabs, which God knows where this line's going to finish. They've bounced from +3.5 to -1.5 to back to 2.5, back and forth for years. So right now, +2.5, taking the points. I think they went outright, obviously. They've had 4 straight games now. They started off 4-0. Last 4 games, they've had much tougher matchups. And it's been like super one-sided on the matchups. Not just that they're playing better teams, but like Nebraska is a great pass defense, and they succeeded in that a lot, but they don't really run the ball all that much. That was a cog in the matchup. UCLA is a lot of unknown, but they've been really good against the pass in the last handful of games outside of Indiana, obviously. And I made it tough for Malik to consistently put the ball down the field. They didn't score very many points. Indiana is Indiana, but really good run defense, really pushes Malik into like an only pass script, and that's tough to do, which is why they had 5 turnovers in that game. It seemed like 3 or 4 of them came within seconds of each other. So that was the first game where it really unraveled big time. And for it to happen against Indiana, I guess is kind of acceptable. But 4 straight games, they sneaky covered 3 of those 4 losses. The only one they didn't was the last one against Indiana. Now I think you're getting a Malik Washington masterclass, not only because the Rutgers defense is bad at pretty much every spot you can point to. They're a bad rush defense. They're a horrible pass defense. But when you give Malik Washington the ability to have some balance on offense, which is not me saying that either of the running backs are going to go out there and run for 150 yards, but you got to get them into second and manageable, third and manageable. In the last 4 weeks, they haven't really been able to do that because they've been playing better front sevens and better defenses in general for the most part. Rutgers is not. Rutgers is horrible. They're not physical, so like the offensive line is going to be better. Compared to the last couple of weeks, they haven't given Malik Washington time. He's going to have time downfield to throw against the secondary, which he hasn't really had outside of a play here and there in each of the last 4 games. So he's going to have a field day against this defense. And the defense on the Terps side, that they had their fair share of tough times. They kept them in a lot of these games that, frankly, the offense hadn't kept up their end of the bargain, including they gave up 55 points last week, but it was a little misleading because it was turnover after turnover. I think after 1 or 2 defensive touchdowns as well. That game was a lot closer than it should have been for a while in the beginning of the game because of that. The defense is fucking good, man. So I don't think they're going to completely shut down Cali McManus, but this will be a back and forth game that I think the better team with the better quarterback and the better offense is going to win.
Okay. Don't got to tell me twice. I'm down to back Malik Washington after that absolute spanking the Terps got from Indiana last week. Whether it was all luck, whether it was half luck, whether it was a little bit of luck, doesn't matter. Indiana certainly has the ball bounce their way pretty much every game this season. And, they had some luck. They had some ball bounces their way. They had some tipped passes that were completions. They had some ridiculous fluke shit. But either way, Maryland still got spanked in that game. I think this is the perfect time to buy low again on the Terps. After a 4-0 start to the season, they lose 4 straight games. They should have won 3 of those 4 games. The last game that they just played was a beatdown. Perfect time to buy low on the Terps again here, and perfect number, +2.5 against a Rutgers defense that is really bad. And if you look at what Rutgers offense, what Kaliamanis, a guy who I like this Rutgers offense. But if there's one, bad facet of this Rutgers offense, Jovan, it's turnovers, it's mistakes. And what does the Maryland defense do best? It's forced turnovers, it's forced mistakes. So terrible matchup for Rutgers. Love the +2.5 here for the Terps.
Yeah, for what it's worth, too, some people may not be kind of inspired by this talk, but our guy has been talking about all week how, if we win this game this week, we go and win 5 games on the season. We win 2 games on the conference season. That's a big improvement over last year. We win a bowl game. That's 2 games over improvement for last year. It seems like a pretty low bar that he's setting, but I think they take real solace in every single game they can be better than last year because he's talked about it every single
time. You talk about Mike Locksley, coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Locks has been beating that to a pulp for the entire lead up to this game.
Okay. Well, I think he's trying to set a realistic goal, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, his ass is on fire. I mean, he could not be more on the hot seat.
I'm saying that. He's managing expectations, but also this is probably the game for him. They win this game. I think he's probably comfortably safe if they win just one more game on the season period. But like this, it's probably the most winnable game they have left. There's a couple you could argue, but this feels like the game that saves his job. This feels like the game that puts the program back on the right track and even gets them asking for a bowl game with one more win after.
Yep. JJJ Quack says, did he not get fired? I know that graphic went viral. Again, guys, you got to double check the Carfax always. There's just accounts out there that are raking in coins from engagement that just post false shit. And it went viral this week with Coach Loxley getting fired on that graphic. A fake account, a fake graphic, did not get fired. Sure, he's on the hot seat, but Jovan, I'm sure you saw that as well. He was trending on Twitter because people were like, oh my God, is this true? Turns out, no, it's not true. What a joke. I felt so bad. My mom got as well. My mom is, a big baseball fan, and she sent in a tweet or a Facebook post or something, whatever old people are doing, and it was a picture of Albert Pujols like clapping, next manager of the Padres, and I was like, Mom, he's not the manager of the Padres. They got you again. She keeps getting got by these fake accounts, and I'm like, you got to block them because she thinks everything she sees is true, just like everyone else. She got.
Yeah,
I felt bad.
Jeez.
I was like, Mom, that's fake news, unfortunately. And what do you know? The Padres go out and hire former Nats legend Craig Stammen. So hilarious full circle moment there. Good for Craig. People forget we got a lot of former Nats as managers across the diamonds, across the league, man. You got Kurt Suzuki, now the Angels coach, right? So you got Craig Stammen, now the Padres coach. I don't know if you knew this, but Aaron Boone, if you're counting Expos, Aaron Boone, technically not. Isn't that crazy?
You aren't claiming Aaron Boone?
No, I don't. And again, I don't because they cross, borders, so I don't actually count him. But some people would. And there's actually one other coach who I'm forgetting now, who's also a Nat. It's smart, right? You hire a former national and you find success. Makes sense. Any comments there?
I mean, I feel like that's the one spot I probably have over you because the Rays, all the coaches in the league are former Rays.
Alex Cora, also an Expo, which I guess by your book is technically a Nat. I would claim him. He's a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. Do I claim the Washington Senators players too? I mean, I guess I think it's just the dumbest thing. It's like when colleges go back and look at the early 1900s and say, hey, we won a natty that year when teams played 6 games and there was never any bowl games or championships. I think it's the dumbest thing. It's handout central to claim stuff from the past like that when your team is not even in the same location or named the same. I think it's dumb as shit. You know what? No, I don't claim the Washington Senators because that was a team from 50 years ago with a different name. No, I don't claim them. No. Stupid. And I think that organization actually moved to Minnesota and they're now the Twins. So the Twins actually claim the Senators. How about that? Fun fact for you. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some football. All right. We could talk about the Nats all day. Probably should. But let's go ahead and reel it back in here, Jovan. Let's talk about some college football squares. I like these two less thans a lot. Gunnar Stockton coming off a couple great games. Gunnar Stockton, for the first time in his college career, is starting to get some respect around these parts, as he should. And also shout out him for the cover when he slid down instead of scoring that touchdown against Florida last week. Big time move for him. I'm sure the boosters were pissed, but we were certainly hyped. Perfect time to sell high on Gunnar Stockton, a guy who, in my opinion, is much better using his legs than he is through the air. But he's had a couple decent games in a row through the air, a couple games in a row where he's had multiple touchdown passes. I think this is the perfect time to fade Gunnar Stockton, fade the Georgia offense after he has a popular square. The square is already on the pop tab for college football. He had 6 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. I think this is more of an under game now, in my opinion, on the road down there in Mississippi State. It's a sleepy game a little bit for Gunnar. If anything, I think you're going to see Georgia run the rock here and find success that way. But it's not going to be a game where Gunnar Stockton takes over with his arm and throws another multi-touchdown game. I'll take the less than on the square that's already on the pop tab. Pretty green of late as well. Love Mississippi State in this spot here at Scott Field in Starkville. And they're not covering this game if he throws 2. So Yeah, I'll go ahead and fade him. And then Nico. Wow. We've come a long way. Nico, congratulations. We're back in to do something good for once in this game that I do think they win. I think they're in a winning game script. I'll be honest, Jovan, Nebraska, what they've done this season, they've proven me wrong, that's for sure. But no Raiola, no fake Mahomes to save the day in this game on the road, right? He's out. Is he out for the season?
Yeah.
Is he out for the rest of the year? Probably, right? It's a pretty bad injury. And again, we don't root for that, but brutal beat for Nebraska. All their mojo, all their swagger, all their aura gone in an instant here. And they got the backup QB in. I think UCLA is in a W game script here. That's why they flipped to a short favorite now at home against this Nebraska team that everybody loves, trendy team, but without Dylan Raiola, nobody wants to back them, and probably a good move because UCLA is going to be winning this game. After UCLA and everybody freaked out because they're, new offensive coordinator, new play caller. Everybody thought that was the coolest thing ever when he took over and they won a couple games in a row. UCLA has come back down to earth since then, Jovan. They are coming off a loss and a pretty bad one against Indiana in their last game. So they do have a bye, right, in between there. So Nico's had 2 weeks to prep for this Nebraska defense, which means zero excuses to go out there and throw a pick in this game. 2 weeks to prep. You should even throw a fucking questionable football in this game. You get 2 weeks to watch film against Nebraska in that defense. So, Nico, I'm backing you to do something good for the first time in a while. Don't fuck me over, man. Do not fuck me over. I think he goes out there in a pretty conservative game script when they're winning, and they run the ball a lot in this game as well. So, yeah, go ahead and give me Nico to not throw a pick.
Sure. And on that, I wanted to so badly go Malik Washington and Eric McAllister for these two, but I felt kind of lazy. I like Malik a little more. Kind of sold on that, and it's part of the meat on tape play. Will I be taking McAllister? Somebody asking in chat, yes. But honestly, my favorite square of the week in college football is Aaron Anderson, so I couldn't leave that out. I like him to get 36. And what do you do after you fire your coach, Krabs? You simplify the playbook, and you start to realize the guys that are your most reliable playmakers, you should probably get the ball, which Aaron Anderson was that to start the year until Garrett Nussmeier started losing his shit. The whole offense just found zero consistency, and it was god-awful, even in some better matchups for him. But he was dealing with some injuries too, which was a part of it. And now he's healthy, and he's going back not only to play Alabama, but he's going back to play where he committed and actually started his college career because he redshirted there his freshman year before transferring to LSU. So talk about a little fired-up narrative. But if you're going to be competing in this game, which I'll be taking LSU, so I do think they do, you're probably going to have to attack Alabama in the short game with a guy that for a majority of the beginning of the season not only led the country or came close to it, like top 5 in every single category of yards after catch, of yards per route run, everything that made this offense fantastic at what it was when at the beginning of the year, which it wasn't great by any stretch, but when they were actually getting some solace of good drives or good offensive movement or anything, came from Aaron Anderson. He was Nuss's guy to start the year. Now that BK is gone, find your guy. He's the only thing you have in this offense that's shown any consistency at any point. All the other pieces are good, but you can't run the ball. You got to sling it through the air. He's the guy in the offense. Figure it out. Just like Trey Wilson last week.
Okay.
And like I said, Malik, I already talked about enough. Don't really need to sell that.
Okay. W Squares, W College Football Weekend Preview. If you guys aren't making coins this weekend and you're not utilizing the College Football Weekend Preview, if you're not going back on a Saturday morning on the YouTube, Bookit Sports, and fast forwarding a little bit to get to the College Football Weekend Preview plays, to get your leans, to get your, plays you want to tail, what do you do? All right. Don't be afraid to go back and rewatch. If you forget what plays we talked about, especially for these squares, love all these plays from us, man. Love the college slate, loaded slate this weekend. Some might say best slate of the year. Not me. Some might. All right. Honorable mentions real quick. I got a couple. I like UTEP plus 1.5 against the Raging Cajuns. I mean, at some point they got to lose a game. Texas A&M, Missouri under 48.5. Like the under in that game. I like the Air Force, San Jose State over 65.5. I like Auburn plus 6.5. Coaches fired system has to be done. I like Wake Forest plus 6.5. Also has to be done. Fading UVA, frauds down there in Charlottesville. You got their QB going on all these podcasts. Perfect time to fade after they've had so much luck this season and last week. I'll be fading the living heck out of them this week. Cannot stand them or their school or their program. Give me Wake plus 6.5. Give me LSU plus 10. Coaches fired system there as well. And then UCLA money line. Jovan, any coin leads?
got some coin lanes and honorables that I'll be playing.
Okay.
McAllister goes without saying I'll be taking him, but part of that's because I like the Iowa State TCU over. Two teams that are, I guess Iowa State's even thinner in the secondary than they have been for the past couple weeks. They lost a starting safety, which is crazy. They're going to be airing that bitch out on both ways. Like FSU plus 1.5 on the road at Clemson. I think they win that game. I'll be taking both the coaches fired systems as well. Probably go 1-1, but can't really pick and choose which one I'd like better. It's probably LSU though. And that's probably it.
Okay. All right. UTEP did not make the card, Dilly Daggers. That's why they were leading it off for the honorable mentions. Love UTEP. It was close. Like too many dogs in college. Shocker. Shocker. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, do me a favor if you can, if you're around. I want to see Tyreek Hill run that jet. All right, Jovan, we got to be extra quick, extra, tempo and pace oriented here. Keep the tempo nice and crispy for the NFL preview so we can get to the squad ride in 20 minutes. Favorite play of the weekend in the NFL? Favorite NFL play of the weekend, Giants and Bears under 46.5. Jovan, you saw what the Bears did last week in that crazy game. Shout out Caleb Williams, shout out the offense, but their defense, man, what a joke. What a joke the Bears defense has become. Well, luckily you get a matchup against one of the most overrated QBs in the NFL in Jackson Dart. An offense it's pretty stagnant since Scatterboo has gotten ruled out for the season. I want to fade their offense. I want to fade the Giants. I do think the Giants cover, but I want to fade the Giants offense here. And I certainly want to fade Caleb Williams and the Bears after that crazy game last week. So I do think the Bears defense locks in after all that fluke shit last week. I like their matchup against the Giants. And the Giants D-line, I think, can wreak a little bit of havoc here as well against the Bears, who are not going to have as much success on the ground with Swift if he's back, or Monangai after a crazy game. Want to fade him as well. He probably won't even play much if Swift is back. But I want to fade both offenses here. Fade the Giants, fade Jackson Dart against that Bears defense. It's going to show up for the first time in a couple weeks. And I want to back, the Giants D-line to wreak havoc and make Caleb nice and uncomfortable in this game. Give me the under 46.5. One of my favorite plays of the weekend, my favorite NFL play of the weekend.
Wow. Starting off with the unders. Favorite play of the weekend. It's out of Krabs, right out of Krabs' pocket, man.
Has to be done. Has to be done. Tell me about this under in San Fran.
Yeah, we know these games usually go, despite the fact the last couple have been riddled by injuries, and this one's kind of no different because the Niners have been in this situation, it feels like, for the past 3 years consistently, and now God knows if Mac's coming out there again. I believe he is, but I don't think it's confirmed yet. But regardless, they're hurt on 70 different levels, and the first time they played, if we all remember correctly, they pulled a crazy upset on the road, which was incredible. Now you're getting them back at home. I think this is going to be a classic chess matchup where we just saw Matthew Stafford, your MVP, and the Rams, back-to-back weeks now, putting up 30-plus points. They put up 34 last week against the Saints, as they should, and then they dominated the Jags in London, 35-7. Now I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a slower game. People were wondering why Kyron wasn't getting bell cow carries last week in a situation where he probably should have in a game against the Saints. Probably because they're going to be doing a lot of that in this game against the front that's been weak against the run, not as weak as like some of the worst run defense in the NFL, but you're still getting chunk plays in the Niners. A lot of that's because they're hurt, obviously, but I think if you're the Rams and you saw how the Niners somehow beat you in the last game, which was unbelievable. We're on the Niners in that one, if I remember too correctly. You probably want to play the ball control game. Keep that defense that's really hurt on the field. And again, after Kyron Williams burned a lot of people, I even took him in some spots too last week. I thought he was going to grub. It's probably because they're saving him for a 20-carry game in this one, where there's going to be a lot of book of chew. And on the other side too, the offense, whoever comes out for the Niners, I think this is going to be a little regression spot for not their offense has been great lately, but after that first matchup, they're airing it out. That was like one of the first Mac Jones games. He really didn't know what to expect from the offense, and they played well. The offensive line played well. I don't think you're getting that for a second time where Mac Jones has a pressure-free game to sit back there, even if it's Purdy who comes back. I think the offenses are going to struggle on both sides. You always get one of these like chess match gross games from these two teams, and I guess the first game doesn't really qualify as that because that was 49 points, but a game that at that point probably should have been a lot more low scoring.
Okay. Let's keep moving and grooving. Let's talk about some overs that we like on Sunday. Not that I really like any of them, but if I had to take one, take the team total over for the Falcons. How about a rare? Is this one in London? I believe it's a 9:30 a.m. game. No. Oh, great. Oh, it's a Germany game. It's in Germany. Yeah. Great. Another overseas game. Don't you just love those? I want to back the Falcons on the spread here, but if I had to take it over, I would just take their team total over 20.5 against the Colts, who are frauds and finally coming back down to earth after they finally got the horseshoe, no pun intended, with the Colts and their logo being a fucking horseshoe. They finally got the horseshoe out of their ass. The luck is finally starting to run out here for the Colts after they lost to the Steelers last week. I think they get beaten outright again in this game, and that's not going to happen if the Falcons don't score 21 points because Jonathan Taylor will probably have a little bit of a better game this week than he did last week. So, yeah, go ahead and give me the Falcons team total over 20.5. Is it rare to say I like an overseas over? Might be the first overseas over of the season that hits in this game, but I'll take the team total.
Yeah, I was trying to think off the top of my head if there's really been any. I don't know that there's been any that I can think of.
Certainly not of late. They've all
been so many games that I'm sure there's probably one or two somewhere, but those games have been terrible.
Yep. 2 have hit. Pixel just saying. Okay. All right, let's hear the sell job on the over. We got to pick up the tempo and pace here.
Yeah, Bucs games soared under the last 2 games before the bye.
Yep.
They held the Saints to a field goal. They themselves got held to 9 points in Detroit. Totals climbing up. Great game here between these 2 teams, but I think the biggest part, unfortunately, like Bucky and Chris Godwin are not playing, which the total is still not really moved since that news, which is probably interesting. But I think the biggest part of this is that Luke Gedeke, who's their right tackle, and Charlie Heck, who's the right tackle standing in, has allowed the most pressures in the NFL out of any qualified lineman. That's the biggest injury I think that the Bucs are going to be on the right side of getting back this weekend. So not only is that going to be great for Baker, but I think it's also great for the downfield pass concepts, which they haven't really had time to run the last couple of weeks, which is why the offense has stalled kind of big time as far as the downfield pass game goes. It's not just because of the wide receiving options that they have, but he hasn't had time to do it. And this is a good Patriots defense, of course, but when you're allowed to get the ball down the field, as you saw Michael Penix, of all people, do, and Drake London's fantastic. I wish we had that right now, but there's no Mike, no CG. We're going to have to settle for Emeka Egbuka, which is a good fallback option. I think you're going to have time to pass the ball in this game, and I especially think the Patriots also are very willing to give up the short pass. Rachaad White, I don't really have to sell that because we'll talk about that square, but look at what all the running backs have done against the Patriots in the past couple of weeks. They're very willing to go up the short passes. If you give that to the Bucs, they're going to score points, which is probably why the favorites in this game, but don't want to fade Drake May. I think he's great under pressure, and the numbers would say that as well. So they're going to put up points in this game, and I think this total is incredibly high, to be honest with you, probably for that reason.
Okay. Love the sell job. Love this over. Let's keep moving and grooving. Let's talk about some blowouts, some favorites, some teams who like to take care of business this weekend. And I'll start out with the Browns. Browns a blowout should never be in the same sentence unless you're talking about the Browns getting blown out. But you know what, Jovan? Perfect time to sell high on the Jets, who just sold their entire team, besides Breece Hall for some weird reason. Jets, good luck in this one. You're finally coming off a win. That was their Super Bowl. I mean, what a comeback. What a game, to be honest, for the Jets there in that spot. But they just had a fire sale. They let go of pretty much their whole squads. So good luck competing here with a gritty Browns defense that I think is going to absolutely manhandle the Jets and that offense in this contest. So there's a reason why the Browns have flipped to a favorite on the road here in the spots. I think they dominate, and Dillon Gabriel's getting a lot of hate. Dillon Gabriel is one bad start away from grabbing Pine, and then your guy Shedeur Sanders is going in the game, which I don't think Dillon Gabriel. Crazy. Hey, you're betting on Colorado this week. That is your guy. That's your guy, Mr. Colorado out there. I'll get you one of those cool cowboy hats like Coach Prime likes to wear since you're Mr. Colorado. But, yeah, take it Dillon Gabriel with his back against the wall, Jovan, when everybody's talking shit, saying he's been terrible this season. And if you look into the numbers, he has been. He's been really bad. But I think this is a back against the wall game for him against a very beatable Jets defense that just got rid of a lot of their good talent. I'll go ahead and take the Browns as favorites on the road here. Sure, they flipped to favorites probably because of all the Jets trades, right? But looks to me like the Jets are packing up shop, getting ready, and trying to get a number 1 overall pick in next season's draft to probably take a QB and help Aaron Glenn build out his own team. For some reason, Aaron Glenn's job is safe, even though he's been probably the worst head coach I've ever seen in my lifetime. But hey, that's a combo for another time. let's just take the Browns to take care of business as favorites on the road. They shouldn't be favorites against anybody. But after the Jets just had a fire sale, the perfect time to sell high on them after their big win, and back the Browns to get their second win in the last 3 games. Don't let them get hot.
Sure. I'm in on that.
Okay.
I like the Jags, which is an odd game because you're getting the first full game of Davis Mills now, it seems. And now you also have no Brian Thomas for the Jags, and we'll see how that works out. But I like betting Liam Cohn in these spots. He's weirdly better, and I've talked about this in some of the other games that he's had. He's better when he knows he has to throw the ball because he's a run game guy at heart. So, like, to be honest with you, a lot of times with the Bucs, when they had a really good matchup in the run game, like take the Saints last game of last year, for example, the pass concepts kind of get pretty stale, and they don't get too creative in the pass game. When you're playing against a really good defense that you know you're going to struggle against in the run game to some point, he gets in his bag, dude. So I love backing that. He knows he's going on the road against a really tough Texans front seven, and now T-Law is going to have to sling this ball on this one, and it's against a really good secondary as well. So I don't think this is going to be too high scoring, but the Jags are going to have to get in their bag in this one, especially with no Brian. The pass concepts are going to have to be creative. This is probably a game where I think you're going to have to see Liam Cohn's best stuff offensively. And when he's kind of back against the wall, not in terms of his jobs, not in jeopardy at this point, but you need a really good performance here going into the second half of the season. They've been bad the last 3 games. They got destroyed by the Rams. They won last game, but it was a pretty pitiful performance against the Raiders, I would say, in a game they should have won by a lot more. They had a really disappointing game against the Seahawks at home. This feels like the game. You got to go on the road against the Texans. The Jags have one of those weird big road wins, I think, every year. This seems like it, even though how big can it be when you're going against Davis Mills and the course of that team? I don't know, but Liam Cohn comes up with his best stuff, I think, of this game.
Okay. I think they sweep the Texans this year, huh?
I think they do.
Okay. All right. Certainly helps that Davis Mills under center for the Texans in this game. All right.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad.
Let's keep moving to groove and W blowouts. Let's talk about a much better segment, though. How about some dogs? Some upset alerts. Yep. All I keep hearing all week is the Lions are getting their lick back. The Lions are coming off a loss. They're getting their lick back for that postseason L they took. Hold that L, Detroit fans. Hold that L, SBR. How about that playoff win last year? People forget about it. Feels like it was eons ago, huh? Where we spanked that ass and dominated the Lions, everybody's favorite Super Bowl team last year in the playoffs to get to the NFC Championship. You remember that? Feels like it was a long time ago, right? It really wasn't. The easiest angle this weekend, Jovan, the easiest bet, the easiest narrative that a simpleton, a baby could come up with, right? A kindergartner could think this one through if he looks for the NFL slate, is the Lions are getting their lick back against the Commanders for what they did to them in the playoffs last year. The Lions are getting their lick back after 2 losses in their last 3 games, after a loss in their last game where they looked like shit against the Vikings and got outdueled by J.J. McCarthy. The Lions don't lose 2 games in a row, right? That's a big popular trend this year is, the Lions coming off a loss. ATS are like 12-0 in their last 12 games. They don't lose 2 games in a row. They certainly don't not cover 2 games in a row. Well, I'm willing to bet they do. And I'm not saying the Commanders are winning this game outright. Okay, they're probably not. But that's a lot of points in this league, man. 8.5 points at home. There's not a team that people believe in less to cover this weekend in the NFL than the Washington Commanders when we all just watched JD5's elbow get bent backwards. Now it's going to be the Marcus Mariota show. Well, if you check the data and if you've watched Commanders games this season, you would notice that Marcus Mariota's QBR is actually higher than Jaden Daniels was, and he played fine. He's not the issue. You know what the issue is? The Commanders' defense. Well, changes are being made. Joe Witt is going from the booth to the sidelines, and he knows he's on the hot seat. If they don't dial up a good game plan against the Lions this week, he is probably going to get canned. And yep, TM Sharp, like you're saying in the chat, Lions 12-0 against the spread after a loss in their last 12 games. Absolutely absurd. Joe Witt coaching for his life. A lot of guys on defense playing for their careers. A lot of guys need to step up. And luckily for the Commanders, Marshawn Lattimore's out for the season. Get him out of here. Worst trade of the century. That guy stinks. We are better with him off the field. So the Commanders, when nobody believes in them, the Commanders, when the season's over, they've lost 4 games in a row. They have not covered 4 games in a row. They haven't covered or won a game in over a month. When all the sharps got burned on the Commanders last week against Seattle, every single sharp I know was on the Commanders in that spot. Who wants to go back to them after they got destroyed against Seattle last week? Nobody, and that's the exact reason why we're taking them. No shot the Lions lose 2 games in a row, right? No shot the Lions don't cover 2 games in a row, right? I'm willing to bet they do.
I mean, I'd love to give you shit for it. This is probably the Lions has got to be the biggest liability that's on the side the entirety of the NFL season.
The biggest survivor pool liability this week, besides maybe the Broncos, which barely squeaked by last night. Lions got to be up next, right? The easiest bounce back spot here for the Lions. Nobody wants to touch the Commanders. Come on now. And look at the reactions in the chat. They are so pissed. So pissed. Might have to make this a 3-0. I'll say it.
Might have to run back.
Tell me why the Giants are covering this weekend.
Yeah, this game's about to get weird. Shout out the Bears for the miracle win last week, but now you get a weird game, not just because they're pretty short, I would say, favorites at home, but it's also going to be a cold, windy, I think, depending on the temperature, it might dip into snow as well. It's right on the border there, but a weather game in Chicago. And you know what the biggest advantage, I think, in a weather game is, especially for these two teams, because a lot of people are on the Bears this week. Of course, not surprised by the Giants. Mononga just went crazy last game, and you're facing a really shit run defense. So that's your biggest advantage there if you're the Bears in this game. You know what else I think is the advantage? How have the Bears been against rushing quarterbacks this year? And they haven't faced too many of them. But if you look back at the running quarterbacks that have faced them, they're gashing them. Even some of like the super mobile quarterbacks. Gino had a couple big runs against him. You can go up and down the list. But I think this is the biggest advantage for the Giants in this game, especially depending on just how bad the conditions get. It's going to be windy. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be snowy. How much? Who knows? We'll see when we get there. But I think this Bears defense is not going to be ready for Jackson Dart on the ground. The one part that I will give them credit for, and I don't think Jackson Dart is a long-term good quarterback or great quarterback in the NFL at the very least. The run packages they've cooked up for him are really good. And nobody's talking about the Giants' offensive line the last couple of weeks has been sneakily one of the better units in football. Matchups have helped that, surely, but they've been avoiding pressures at a rate that I don't think I've seen a Giants offensive line avoid pressures in my entirety of existence. So is that something to buy in for the rest of the season? I don't know. I think it'll help them in this one. I also think Jackson Dart's going to have an absolute field day on this team on the ground, which is going to make this game weird. It's going to make this game strange. It's going to make this game one of the more interesting ones of the slate, which is probably why they're only plus 4.5 in this game, which is one of the crazier lines in the NFL so far this year.
Yep. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the under better, but I certainly like the Giants on the spread. Okay? I'm with you on that. Let's swing it around. Let's talk some meat. We don't have time to be, we don't have time to be talking too much. We got to quit yapping and get into these plays. Meat on tape, favorite plays of the NFL Sunday slate. Something's different about this Cardinals team, Jovan. They're moving differently. They're grooving differently. If you guys think Kyler Murray is going to play another game in Arizona, you don't know how football works. You don't know ball. Respectfully, his work here is done. Look at what Jacoby Brissett's doing in this offense. It looks like a whole new team, man. Straight up. I'm very impressed by this Arizona team that just took care of business against Dallas in that last game. Their offense looks rejuvenated. Marvin Harrison's doing his job. They've covered 3 straight games in a row. Well, let's make it 4. And we got to fade Seattle coming off that legacy performance, their statement win that they had against the Commies on Sunday Night Football when everybody's saying Seattle's legit. People are starting to say Seattle is a Super Bowl contender. Give me a break. Sam Darnold is their QB, regular season king. Jacoby Brissett's going to go out there and outduel them in this game, Jovan. I'll take the plus 6.5. Probably going to need it. But this game is going to be a one-possession game. Either way.
I'm surprised you're not selling Brissett stock after that performance.
I'd rather sell Seattle stock coming off the greatest game in NFL history on Sunday Night Football.
Understandable.
Yep. I mean, Arizona, they kept CD in check almost the majority of that game till the end of it. Maybe they can keep JSN in check, right? It's not like they have CD and Pickens to, keep under wraps. They only got one guy they really got to worry about in JSN. So I like Arizona's chances here to keep it close.
Sure.
I do.
Sure.
I do. All right, tell me about the Ravens real quick.
Yeah. Fake demon, JJ McCarthy, tough guy act ends this week. It was cute. Great upset. You called that on the road against the Lions. He really didn't do all that much, despite all the glazing he gets for sub 200 yards passing. But he managed the game well enough. He's not going to be able to just manage the game and win and or cover this game against the Ravens. He's going to have to air that bitch out. The Ravens defense is getting it together as they get healthier. And I hate to say it, they're starting to look scary again, but they kind of are. And I bought in on that, unfortunately. So I think their defense is going to make it very, very tough on J.J. McCarthy, especially because I think they're continuing to get better against the run, which is good. I think that's something that's to stick for the rest of the season. And now you're going to make him throw the ball a lot more than they want to in that system. And you're also going to make him throw to more than his first read, which I was shocked to see the Lions let him get to so many times last week. But it worked, and they were successful, and they won the game. Now you're at home, probably laying a little bit more than I would have thought. I guess you're getting a little bit more than I would have thought against the Ravens, but you're going to see a lot of pressure, a little less than it used to be from the Vikings defense. But I hate to give Lamar credit, but he continues to be elite against pressure. You want to blitz him, you want to send anything, he's going to beat it. That's just a story of Lamar Jackson. So you're going to send pressure. I think he's going to have a field day as well. I think there's probably a higher scoring game, at least from the Baltimore side. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to have to do a lot more than boom his ass in the end zone to keep this one competitive.
Is there any correlation between Goots getting his first PTO of the season and you taking the Ravens today?
I'm glad I'm doing this when Goots isn't here. But realistically, it's a little more about the Vikings than it is the Ravens.
Rare Jovan, Ravens backing. Okay. I love this play. Ravens win out the rest of the season, and they win the Super Bowl. Yep. You heard it.
Sure.
You heard it. They're not going to lose again the rest of the season. All right. Why don't we, while this is up on the screen, why don't we craft up the squad ride options and let that puppy bake while we go over these squares? Can we do that?
We got a couple minutes. Rhapsody's not in a rush.
All right. I don't want to run over. All right. We'll go over the squares then first. That's fine. Caleb Williams, less than 1.5 passing touchdowns after a legacy game. Yep, stacking up. Mose Stackenheimer here on the Bears. Yep, welcome to Mose. How about a two-piece here in the Bears game? Love the under. Might be the play of the year on the books here in this game. I'll say it might be play of the millennium, just like that Tua square was that nobody talks about anymore. Caleb Williams, less than 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is how we get the party started. Caleb Williams coming off of his best game as a pro. Is that fair to say? I mean, he's catching touchdown passes. I mean, that was just a sight to see. And as a Caleb Williams guy, got him in my dynasty team, I believe. I like the kids. I know he's, cringe, but I like the kid under center. He's a good QB. He's going to struggle this week against that D-line and the Giants, the one good facet of that defense. He's going to be seeing ghosts, in my opinion, and they're going to be in his grill all game. So Caleb, like he looked a lot last season, is not going to look comfortable in the pocket like he has this season. He's not going to have time to when he doesn't have a pocket for more than 1 or 2 seconds. So I'll fade Caleb. If they do any sort of damage in this, what could be a snow game, it's going to be on the ground. And I'll take his less than 1.5 passing touchdowns in the game I like the under in. And that leads me to this next square where I'm fading Cairo Santos, taking his less than 2.5 PATs made. If Caleb ain't throwing 2 touchdown passes, Cairo ain't kicking 3 PATs, that's for sure. And Cairo's due for a PAT miss as well, which that honestly could come into play here. If it does, I'm going to look like a genius. But I don't think they scored 3 touchdowns in this game, Jovan. Love the under, love the Giants. So why not overcomplicate it? Just keep it simple and take Cairo Santos to not kick 3 PATs. They're not scoring. He ain't kicking them.
Yeah. I mean, in that game too, I don't think a touchdown guarantees a make either.
No. Who knows with the weather, right? We're not going to put our meteorologist caps on, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. Tell me about Ladd and Rashad.
Yeah, I'll keep it simple since we're short on time. Steelers are going to play a shit ton of man. They also get torched in the slot. Perfect puzzle piece for Ladd McDonkey, who's been kind of edging around. Like, he hasn't really had a huge just destroy game. He kind of edges around like this number specifically. And he's fell short a couple of the last weeks. I think this week you get an absolute explosion number. I think I'll be investing in some demons in a game that I probably think is going to be back and forth. The 75th straight game that the Steelers are a field goal favorite. Back and forth game, right. Busting. Then Rashad, look at what running backs are doing against the Patriots. I think Bijan had like 8 fucking catches last week, which he's the anomaly. He's the best receiving running back in the NFL outside of McCaffrey, but it's not just him. It's not just those guys that are tearing apart the Pats. And now that Baker's going to have a little bit more time as well, they're probably not going to need Rashad blocking as much, which was the big issue with getting him out on routes sometimes. So now when you're going to have Ibuka on Segons for a majority of the time, you got to go the ball somewhere. I think Rashad's going to get big-time receiving volume going down the field.
Okay.
Bang.
Love that from you. I think Ladd goes off as well. All right. Do me a favor. If you're able, if you're around, if you're local, Jovan, run that shit. I'm trying to see that squad ride train. All right, Jovan. Great call last night with Iowa State. Let's keep moving and grooving. What are we eyeing tonight? We're in a pickle here because I'm fading one of your squads, taking Tulane. It's probably my favorite play of the night, but probably not worth our time going down that alley. Right? Who knows with the QB uncertainty? You literally have the guy's fucking jersey hung up behind you. So maybe we leave that one off to the side. We let that switch.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Unless you are certain it's a winner.
I mean, I'm certain it's a winner. Yeah, I am. But what good comes from this? You got to root against your fucking team. You already have to do that with the Prize Picks lineup.
Fair.
We'll come back to it. What about from your plays, man? You got a couple overs. You got a big old favorite on the grid or on the hardwood, excuse me. Which of those plays is speaking to you the most? Is it your play on the ice?
Yeah, it feels like I'd be remiss if I didn't put the double shutout system in there.
Okay. Rangers and Red Wings over 6. Okay. I like that NC State play too, man.
I'm always down for Will Wade.
Yeah, and fading UAB after they lose their star. Okay.
Yeah. And they already got their game in, covering, looking fantastic.
Yep. I'm in. Let me check.
Like we gotta put the Krabs Bowl under in there.
Okay. Georgetown, Maryland under.
Yeah, I like that from you.
Let's see where that total's at. 146.5 still. I'm seeing some 145.5 popping up. Why don't we meet in the middle there and go 146?
Have you moved it?
I want to check the juice on UNC. If I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm a little bit blown. They're getting steamed up during the show. If it's past that minus 140 marker, we'll probably leave it out. It's minus 140. What are your thoughts on UNC against Kansas?
I like it. Don't know if I love it.
Okay. You want to just go these 3 plays?
You go these 3 plays.
Okay. I'm in. Chad, I'm going to post the link right now. I just posted the tweet. If you want to get involved, you know where to go. Okay, go to the Bookit BTLX at Bookit BTL. Get involved. I'll drop the link here for you guys. Get that X account, get that Twitter account up and moving, and get your votes in. You got 5 minutes. Hurry up. Go. 3 plays, 3 winners. Rangers, Red Wings over 6. NC State minus 20.5. And Georgetown, Maryland under 146. Good to have that rivalry back. W plays, W Friday, WBTL Friday, and W RAV hosting the Surge stream right after this. So stick around, guys. Don't go anywhere. And again, if you're wondering where the coin toss is there a live coin toss this week? They already did the live coin toss on Wednesday, and you can go back and rewatch that on the YouTube as well. Please do me a favor. Go back and rewatch the coin toss and drop a like on that puppy on the Bookit Sports YouTube. Okay? Get involved. 3 plays, 3 winners. Rangers, Red Wings over. NC State spreads. And Georgetown, Maryland under. All right, we got a favorite. We got an over. We got an under. Get involved. Pick your poison. Let us know what play you like. You got about 3 minutes left. Okay. Jovan, any parting words? You get any news from the boosters down there in Memphis? Hear anything about Brendan Lewis, or no boosters talk yet?
No boosters talk yet. Everything I'm still seeing from the same guys say he's playing, so I'm expecting him to play.
I think he will too. We'll see how he plays. A little banged up, but that guy's proven everybody wrong this season.
Yeah.
So is Memphis.
We'll see. Hope they win by 3 and we all win.
Are you worried about the distractions potentially? Coach going on all these talk shows. Coach maybe going to coach somewhere else after this year. Maybe thinking about that, thinking about his family, thinking about his livelihoods.
No, I think they're locked.
Okay.
I think they're locked. The way he's talking on these podcasts this week, he seems locked in, man. He seems locked.
Sean Beasy coming in with a resub. Sean Beasy or him. He says, "Hey, gents, when is the 1v1 Ramble Bookit 2K game? I want to play them in real life."
Yeah.
Spank them in real life. That's what I want to do.
Going.
2K, I'm in. I'll play, but I want to play those guys in real life. I mean, I covered against a guy who played college basketball. I didn't even play high school ball, and he's out here talking shit. I think we could take him. We got me and Jovan down low. Trent's probably going to fuck it up and take too many shots, be a me guy. We got LC who can make some threes. I like our chances, to be honest, against the Ramble squad, but I think we'd be favorites.
Yeah, at least. Honestly, big addition of Rav might swing it our way and make us favorites.
Rav, yeah, athletic. I agree. I think we got their number. I would love to set that up. I would. I'm a big MJ guy, one of our buddies, but I don't think he stands a chance in the paint against me and Jovan, respectfully. I don't. Maybe they put Shady Beeve down low, and that worked out great against me. He couldn't even cover the spread. What a joke. Unbelievable. I haven't played basketball since 8th grade, and I'm out here covering the spread against a college basketball player. Whew. That's a bad look.
It's just.
I say so. That's a bad look. It is. All right, get those votes in chat. We got about 1 minute left. Nobody wants the Georgetown, Maryland under. Shocker. That play is going to be free. Looks like it's going to be the Rangers, Red Wings over 6, Jovan. They want to take your system over on the ice. I got no problems with that.
Has to happen.
All right, WBTL today, guys. Stick around for the Surge stream starting up right now. Shout out Rav for stepping up. Make sure you guys pitch him a winner for today. Bring the vibes. And we'll catch you guys on Monday. Same time, same place. We'll be. Okay.